Hello, this is a tutorial video for HOBBIT platform. It will teach you how to set up the HOBBIT platform locally for testing or development. The HOBBIT evaluation platform is a distributed fair benchmarking platform for a linked data lifecycle. This means the platform was designed to provide means to benchmark any step of the linked data lifecycle, ensure the benchmarking results can be found, accessed, integrated, and reused easily, and benchmark big data platforms by providing first distributed benchmarking platform for linked data. You can find more information about the project HOBBIT on the project-hobbit.eu website. Before getting started with the HOBBIT platform, make sure your environment meets the requirements for it. You would need Java and Apache Maven of specified versions, as well as Node.js and NPM, and Docker and Docker Compose for executing and running the project components. Once you have all of those installed, you can continue to the quick guide in the documentation. Once you've installed all the requirements, you are good to go with the quick guide section. I'm going to follow along here and walk you through every point by showing you what exactly you can do. We should start with cloning the repository and entering the folder. Once the repository has been cloned and you entered the folder, make sure to initialize the Docker swarm by running docker swarm init command. And then make sure to execute the make create networks command that will initialize all the necessary Docker networks for HOBBIT platform to work. Once all of this is done, you can just start the platform, but in this case, I'm gonna show you how to get your local benchmarks and system into the platform. You have two options. You can either use HOBBIT GitLab credentials and get your platforms and benchmarks from the HOBBIT GitLab, or you can attach them via local metadata files, and this is exactly what we are going to do. First of all, I'm going to go to the terminal and create a folder called meta, which will hold our metadata for the local platforms. Next, I'm going to copy the example metadata file into the meta folder, so that now we have it there. Once this is done, I would need to modify the Docker Compose file as per documentation to include the local metadata directory environment variable and to mount the meta folder as the volume. I'm going to use my Sublime editor to do that, and I am just going to copy the local metadata environment from here and leave it as is. We're going to add it to our platform controller, and we're going to modify it slight bit. And then we're going to add the volume that includes our meta folder and mount it like this. So after this is saved, we are ready to run the platform. This can be done by executing docker compose up -d. Once you have executed and the platform is started, you need to initialize the Virtuoso storage. To do that, execute the run storage init script that will do this for you. It will wait for the Virtuoso to start up and execute all the required instructions. Once this is done, you can navigate to localhost 8080, which will present you with the HOBBIT GUI. If the GUI is not authenticated, you will be redirected to the key cloak, which might not be started up. The startup process can take some time, so you just have to wait a bit until the key cloak is up. Once the key cloak is up, you'll be presented with the login interface where you can use one of the login and password combos provided in the tutorial. For example, we will use system provider and HOBBIT as a password. We're going to have system provider as a login and HOBBIT as a password, which will log us into the HOBBIT platform and present us with the HOBBIT platform interface. Since we linked our local metadata for the benchmarks and experiments from the volume, we can now access it using the benchmarks field. So you can see here the HOBBIT example benchmark. This concludes the video for local HOBBIT project tutorial. I hope it was helpful to you. If you have any more questions, please make sure to address the HOBBIT documentation. You'll find everything you need to know there.